Anyway,
No worries.
we're all good. So,
Yeah.
so we're going to go live to a fair few people at the moment to talk about nutritional cleansing and also a bit about your story. I know you've got a beautiful background as obviously in the nutrition education space. You've done a master's, I think I saw over there in Arizona. Is that right?
Hmm.
So, yeah, I guess tonight we're just going to get pretty down and dirty. And as you know, like we like to keep it raw and keep it pretty honest.
Sure.
And I think this is a beautiful conversation for people to have and to really be able to chat with people like yourself. Because would you say that you're, when it comes to the product education side of things with Isagenix, you're kind of in between the world who just wants it really simple and this team of like scientists and geniuses who are sort of doing their thing in the background?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely is. Whenever you're dealing with a technical topic, and nutrition is that, it's always kind of a balance of that, right? If you can go really sciencey and really deep, but also got to keep it simple for everybody to understand. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. So let's get started. I'm just gonna fire this off as well and get this live to one of our groups. So we've got a recording. But let's start with your story. I'd love to hear a bit of a background about yourself and just a little bit about your journey and I guess how you got to become so passionate about food, and nutrition, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Where would you like to start?
Are we doing one of those? Is this going live onto like your Facebook group? Is that how this is working?
Yeah, it is. Yep, just setting that up now. So, tell us. Let's get started. Tell us a little about your story. Where did this passion for food nutrition really come from? When did you know that this is sort of like the path that you're going to head down?
Sure, yeah. And I mean, not that it started right out of the womb, but my mother was a very health conscious person and she raised all of us. I mean, some of my first memories are going to the farmer's market. And she was always making lots of, veggies and whole grains and all of that. So it really started with her, I think, just my affinity for eating healthy.
Yep.
And then as I just got older and I was choosing my topic of, study, I was always kind of a science and math girl. I did at one time wanted to be a doctor, and then I
Mm.
realized I was a big fat wuss and I can't handle anything that doctors have to handle. So that was out of the question. But nutrition ended up just kind of naturally being a topic I was drawn to. I mean, it's very personal. Also, too, I did it in my early 20s, like many people, I formed an unhealthy relationship with food.
Mm.
And so I even more wanted to study nutrition and food to kind of help myself.
Yep.
And yeah, and then it was just a science. And then that just, led into, oh, wow, there's degrees in nutrition. And here I am. So that's how I went into studying it.
Yeah, that's epic. And like that, it's really interesting because being an allied health professional myself, I know that when I studied, like food for me now, I see as like foundational medicine. And I didn't grow up with a mum who knew what your mum knew. She wasn't taking us to farmers markets. She was sort of just getting by as a single mum, just putting food on the table each week, which would sometimes be microwave dinners and things like that, right? So I had to really, through my own experience, figure out my own relationship with food in a healthy and unhealthy way. So I completely understand that. But what would you say now, like about, food as foundational medicine? Like, do you see that this is actually taught to a lot of health professionals in universities or people in general? Or would you say that there's a big like missing gap between the everyday person and this sort of like food world?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's a very well-known thing. I mean, at least here in the US, I don't know exactly how it is in Australia, but I
Mm.
would assume it's somewhat similar in that medical schools do not spend that much time on nutrition and teaching the doctors to be about it. In fact, even when I was in my undergrad, I remember trying to get part of a bill on Capitol Hill that was trying to mandate increased time in medical school spent on nutrition study. So
Mm.
there is a big gap. And then also too, I mean, I think the biggest problem, it's not necessarily gap or lack of knowledge because, I mean, the thing about nutrition, it is a science, yes, and you
Yep.
can, like myself, go get advanced degrees in it, but it's also, for one, it's intuitive somewhat because, we have to eat every day. And I think we get a feeling of when we eat better, we feel better.
Mm.
So I don't think it's always lack of knowledge. I just think it's lack of execution and being just bombarded by all the wrong things. I mean, we just live in a world where eating and eating the wrong foods is so accessible, so affordable and cheap, and it tastes really good. So it just becomes, unless you really, you know, are purposeful and try not to, it's very easy to do the wrong things.
Yeah, and it's like something like Coca-Cola as an example is easily accepted. Whereas if all of a sudden you're having smoothie bowls in the morning, you've become that you know, that chungu hipster who's got another health fad, and it becomes something different, right? And it'd be very nice if it was the opposite way around, where, you know, like the smoothie bowls and, you know, fasting and high vibration plants was sort of part of that, was the normal, and then that stuff like the, you know, the fake foods was kind of the extra.
Yeah. Yep. And then also too, it's kind of, we've gotten away from food, nutrition being our fuel for living, whereas now it's fuel for anything to, you know, cover your emotions, to, you know, signify a good time, to help with boredom. So it's, you know, we've just gotten away from that, where food is just, it's everywhere.
Yeah. So I want to hear your view. Tell me, like, you're a very smart woman. Like I've seen you speak at a couple of events, and I just love the way, I love your perspective on, like, you know, food as foundational medicine. So just give us your viewpoint. How would you explain it in layman terms, of how food is foundational for your health and well-being?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it goes back to, we all have to eat, you know, we all have to feed our bodies every day, unless you're doing a cleanse day, of course. But, and it really matters, that nutritional makeup of what you're eating. And it can absolutely lead to you not being your best, not feeling your best, or you know, shining like a rock star and being that unicorn that you can be. And the thing about it too is, and the crappy thing really is that you can go, and I think a lot of us realize this, you can go a long time with doing the wrong thing and not giving your body everything you need. And it will catch up with you eventually. And it can take some people years, or it can take people years of just not really probably living their best life, or not feeling their best, always being tired or sluggish, or having that, you know, extra 10, 20 pounds, what have you. So it is the key, it is the foundation, but it's very easy to maybe overlook or not really notice until things aren't okay. So I think, you know, and that's where I really like Isagenix, is because it makes it so easy. It makes that nutritional foundation so easy to achieve, so that then, you are really, you know, giving your body exactly what it needs so that you can feel your best and be your best.
Yeah. And I guess the simplicity of rituals, isn't it? Like the things like intermittent fasting, it's not something that's new. Like there's a lot of cultures that have been doing this, like the Ramadan, is something that someone was talking about with me the other day. And it's like fasting has been part of so many different cultures for thousands of years, right? But somewhere along the line, we kind of like lost those rituals and replaced them with unhealthy rituals.
Yeah.
So what I'd love to go into a bit more detail with you about now is, so why did you choose to partner with Isagenix? Like you came out of uni, you know, there was obviously, you know, jobs on the table and things like that, but was there something specific where you decided, hey, I want to partner with the vision of this company, or was it something else?
You know, it was kind of random. It was literally the week of graduation for me from my undergrad uni. And here comes this job ad. And I chose to go a nutrition route that was very kind of macro level. I wasn't really interested in going to work in hospital like registered dietitians do. I wasn't interested in, you know, kind of trying to start a practice of one-on-one counseling, anything like that. I wanted to, you know, work on the larger picture messaging of nutrition and, you know, large scale education, if you will. And I was kind of worried all throughout my undergrad, because I saw the opportunities was really for hospital work. And that's really it, hospital work, registered dietitian. So I was kind of like, am I going to have the opportunity that I want? But I'm going to go for it anyway. We'll take our chances. So graduation week, and here comes this job ad through my university, and it's for literally the degree I just got, nutrition communication specialist. And it was exactly what I wanted. It was, you know, reading and researching about nutrition, writing articles, giving presentations, and, you know, focusing on, you know, good nutrition. And literally, I had never heard of Isagenix. So I was really just attracted to that job ad and all the things that were within it was exactly what I wanted. And I really, I mean, of course, when you go for a job interview, you do the, a little bit of due diligence and research on the company, which I did. So I had enough to know about it, but I really had no idea about it. I just really wanted the job. So I went and interviewed, and 2 interviews, and then I got the job. So that's kind of the random story of how I came to Isagenix.
And what do you see now? Like, you've obviously got to meet, a lot of the people behind the scenes, and I've had the pleasure of obviously meeting Jim and Kathy, who are kind of like they're the business model and how to really get this out to the people side of things. And there's John Anderson, who's the big scientific team that's like formulated. Like, they're people like you that have spent 40, 50 years, like looking at the soil and looking at plants and going to Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine and bringing it together, adding a bit of nutritional science, and then kind of formulating this system, which we, just put into our body each week as these rituals, right? So what would you say is like, if you could give us a bit of insight about, let's maybe start with the scientific team, what could you tell us about John Anderson and just the caliber of people behind this program?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll say, going back to, it was the job ad and my role that attracted me to the company. But what's kept me with the company now, we're going on 8 years that I've been here, is absolutely the leaders, the commitment that the company has to good nutrition. From day one, I had to jump in and study all these parts of the system that John Anderson started. And intermittent fasting back then when I started was much less of a buzzword than it is today. I hadn't really heard of it too much, so I had to jump in the science of that, and I was instantly impressed with all the evidence of it that is there. Also too, like adaptogens, that was something that at first I thought it was a marketing term that Isagenix made up. But there again, I was pleasantly surprised to find all this research, all this evidence that shows that daily ritualistic use absolutely benefits health. So I think from day one, being impressed with, wow, this first of all, John Anderson really did it right by designing this system. And then now the continued commitment that the company has to always making good products that provide good nutrition. Also to the commitment to scientific research. That's probably a big thing. Like, my favorite thing about the company is that it's not that we're just out there, putting out the before and afters, which I never get sick of. And I love those too, the personal testimonies and evidence of success. But that the company's willing to have universities, third-party researchers take the products, take the systems, study them, and then, report the results. And that's, none of those results are guaranteed. And not only are we, supporting our products and people using our products, and hopefully, people like yourself and others use that scientific evidence when you're sharing these products. But to me, what I really like is we are contributing to the scientific knowledge and the scientific evidence around what works for health and for healthy weight loss and for improving performance, all of that. So all of those things. And it really does start with the leadership of this company. So the Coovers, John Anderson, our whole scientific team, everybody. So, it really is a great evidence-based nutrition company. And I love that.
Yeah, and that's really powerful, especially for any allied health professionals out there, because we get really caught up, like we get taught about the evidence-based stuff, right? But like you said, most allied health professionals in America and Australia, it's the same. We probably only do over a 4 to 6 to 8 year degree, probably like 20, maybe 21 hours in food as medicine, or in nutritional sciences, right? Which is kind of interesting when you like the foundation for healing and regeneration is what we fuel our body with every single day. We either get like high quality building blocks or low quality synthetic fake building blocks, right? And there's no surprise that we have obesity epidemics, we have these uncontrolled cell growths in our body, and all this stuff going on. And it's kind of straightforward to link it to what we're consuming every day. And if we haven't made that link, then I think it's something we're going to make. We'll have to make the link very, very soon, either out of desperation or hopefully through people like yourself, through the education, inspiration that there's some simple things that they can do right now and actually kick into, right?
Yeah. No, well said.
So what would you say, like, just give us a bit of an insight about what type of people are in the scientific team? So John Anderson, obviously, he's formulated 2,500 products, and, he got really sick and tired of all these companies adding fillers and all the product just being compromised, basically, which is the reason why he created Isagenix as a no compromise company as a standard. But who else is in the team? Like I heard there's like some digestive health specialists. We've got, is it Dr. Bill Andrews or someone to do with like telomere support and longevity? What can you tell us about, the caliber of the people in the team?
Yeah, sure. And so the science team, also known as the Isagenix Center of Nutrition and Science, or ICONS for the acronym. You might be seeing that more and more going forward. But basically, it's a science team, R&D, an in-house that consists of it's a whole department, and there's probably about 50 plus people that most all have science backgrounds or science degrees, whether it be nutrition, whether it be biologists, microbiologists, chemists, food scientists, the whole lot. And basically there's 4 different areas. There's the team that I've been a part of called the research and science team. We're basically the nutrition team. We all have nutrition degrees. We've got registered dietitians. We've got sports nutrition experts. We've got PhDs that are coming from academia, from university. We have digestive health specialists. So a good nutrition team, and it's our job to obviously write Isagenix Health articles. For those not familiar, isagenixhealth.net is kind of our science website. We obviously help with product development, kind of offering the ideas that are probably going to be good with nutrition science, or since we keep our eye on the research, if there's an ingredient or something, a nutrient that is, really showing to be beneficial or that a lot of people need, we do help with product development in that sense by providing the nutritional core. And then also, of course, educating, like you've seen myself and others do around the world in our markets. Then we also have the quality team, of course, which they're very important. They're the ones, really the boots on the ground when it comes to upholding our no compromise quality. So quality assurance, quality control. They're constantly all day long testing our products in-house, working with third-party laboratories who are also testing our products. They're auditing all of our partners out there, manufacturing vendors. They're vetting new possible partners. So very, very busy group, very important work that they do, and they all love what they do. I mean, the thing too, a lot of people forget, and it always cracks me up when people are like, oh, those products have bad for you ingredients, or, they're just like the rest. And it's like, no, we're not bad people trying to, won over you and fool you. No, I mean, we all use these products. We all want the same super high quality, best products too. So anyway, so there's quality. Then we also have the product development team, which those are all the food scientists. So they're the ones in the lab taking our ideas for formulas and whatnot and making them work in the lab. They also do work very closely with John Anderson. And then lastly, we have the international regulatory team. And they're a very important team too, because they're the ones who are keeping their eye on all our different markets, all the different regulations, making sure we're compliant, making sure, we're legally selling in each country we're in. So that's the kind of the whole team. But again, it's a great team. And again, you'd be surprised. And I don't know every company, but there's a lot of companies out there that R&D maybe consists of like 2-3 people, partly because they're not really doing all these very important steps to making sure their products are, evidence-based and no compromise quality.
Well, let's go into that, like the no compromise quality, because I think that's the unique thing that makes this company stand apart. Not even just the fact that, you've got nutritionists and microbiologists who are all part of the team. They're all using the products, and they all, they're actually investing in the vision as much as the people that are, like me and everyone else who's actually just, this box arrives at our door. We integrate it into our active lifestyles, and, we add in some fasting and cleansing. We have smoothie bowls, and we get on with our day. I think that's a very unique thing in the fact that everyone is part of the party using the products and also sharing it, and also getting up at 3 a.m. to educate people like yourself, Sarah. So if you talked about the no compromise side of things, like I remember John Anderson he was really passionate when he chatted about it. It's like the quality of the soil. It's like the soil is living, it's biodynamic. It's like the nutrients in the soil then become the nutrients in the plants. It's not just the organic standards of not using pesticides and nasties and all that type of stuff. It's so much more. It's about the way that you source the quality farmers and distributors, the soil, how you then manufacture it, and then how you get it to people. So how would you describe that process of like being no compromise in quality and source?
Yeah, well, it starts with, for one, choosing the right partners, suppliers, vendors, manufacturing partners, making sure that they have the same standards as we do as far as their testing methods, where they're sourcing from, making sure that their product that they are, you know, providing us is as high quality as we want it, which we also, again, audit and vet by doing our own testing of it. But it starts there. And we have great partners out there. So
just one second. That's basically talking about the farmers. You're talking about the farmers and the people that source the whole foods.
Yeah. And usually, I mean, and you do have to remember, I mean, we are a large company, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't, I mean, we started as a mom and pop shop, but we are not anymore. We are supplying products all over the world. So we are a, you know, pretty big one. So we work with more, you know, maybe not straight to the farmer, but we're working more with the brokers who are working with the farmers who then, you know, supply our demand, because we have big demand for a lot of our stuff. But there again, though, and, you know, and again, a lot of people sometimes are afraid of big food and big food companies. However, there's a lot being done, especially with the right partners that we are partnering with and searching for. There's so much great work being done with them, you know, bringing together all of these small scale farmers, you know, providing them income, you know, and reliable income to be able to provide or sell their product, but really choosing high quality, working with small farmers and bringing it all together so that it contributes to this, you know, this company that needs this large demand. So while we aren't necessarily out there, you know, searching farmer by farmer, we're working with the people who are. So we do that, but then also too, there's a lot being done as well as far as, and this is an area that I really love of what we do in our industry is that, you know, when it comes to, especially the plant extracts, the botanicals out there, it is very true that your sourcing, it matters and where it's coming from. You know, there's a lot of anything that we get from the ground, there's always chance for heavy metals, microbial activity, all of that kind of stuff. So it is very important you're sourcing for that. And also not only that, but certain botanicals, certain plants, there's, you know, forms of it or certain extracts or isolates that can be used that are shown to have higher bioavailability. There's combinations of things that you put together that makes it more bioavailable. So all this really cool stuff that, of course, we are, you know, taking advantage of and looking and using. But then really, and this is on our end, it is the testing. And so it's making sure that, you know, every plant extract is free of heavy metals, of microbial activities, of any other contaminants that you don't want to be consuming. So that really is probably our biggest safeguard, is all the testing that we have done on all individual ingredients, but then also on the finished product. So making sure that everything is perfectly safe to consume. And that's too why, you know, people I know sometimes get caught up in the whole organic topic. But I mean, here's the thing. We do use organic ingredients. We do where possible. However, organic ingredients don't always pass our quality standards.
And that's big. Because
it is. Like, people don't really realize that organic,
I know.
It just has to do with how something was grown. It's agricultural practice. It has nothing to do with quality or safety. In organic ingredients, there's a lot of manure used. And so that means sometimes these are very high in heavy metals and microbes. So we go above and beyond that. And so that, you know, testing.
So basically the simplicity for people out there is Isagenix with a no compromise policy. You're a buffer between all the lack of trust that we've got in that space and in I guess the food and farming practices. You find the small scale farmers, give them a distribution source, another source of income, which is something that I looked at a long time ago in the food chain and seeing how much wastage is made at that end because of all these other manufacturers putting a lot of on load on those farmers. So for them to actually have a way to feed into something bigger and have another source of income is massive. Then you've got the brokers who hold the same standards that you guys have as no compromise in the quality and source, which is the soil plus the absence of all the heavy metals plus exceeding organic standards. So the simplicity is Isagenix just becomes a buffer between all of that and then products that we feel safe to consume and put into our body every day.
Yeah, that was an excellent summary, Roy. And also too, something you just said made me think, you know, the thing about the soil and whatnot, and this even comes to, I've been thinking more even about, you know, the fruits and veggies that I get and all the beautiful whole, you know, healthy meals. There's so much more of a level of control using Isagenix. Not to say that it's always a combination, right? Yep. Isagenix and then healthy meals and foods, of course. And of course, Isagenix is food too. But it's a combination. But the thing is that even though you can put together a great healthy meal, you know, lots of fruits and veg and all the right things, you might have a slight idea, and especially, if you know your nutrition, you know what vitamins and minerals and whatnot are in foods, but most people don't, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
So you might have an idea, but you really don't know the exact levels because we're not testing that, right? And,
Yeah.
Sometimes cooking methods can affect nutrient levels, how long you store it in your fridge, right? All of those things. So when the time that you get this beautiful, healthy meal put together, you don't really know how much. Whereas, and this is another part of our quality, we do test finished product label claims. So making sure that what's on the label is in the product. So when you have your shake and you see XYZ amount for vitamins and minerals for everything, you're getting that. So there's a much better level of control by using our products and incorporating that into your daily nutrition.
Yeah, and that's such a beautiful thing, because I think, even working in a sporting space, we had these athletes that were trying to run like Ferraris, and they're using a lot of like synthetic supplements and things like that, and they're obviously eating a lot and consuming a lot, but most of them were really sluggish, and most of them were holding a bit of extra weight. Most of them, were kind of falling apart on the inside. And what I've sort of noticed being in this community the last 5 or 6 years is the people that I'm around, they tend to be getting like healthier and stronger and like they just seem to be more well-beings. And I think someone summed up really well. They said that who we are tomorrow is a reflection of the choices we made 12 months ago, right? So for most of us, we're kind of looking at what we're consuming today as our fuel, as our building blocks for like our cells to regenerate, to heal, to do what they naturally do. And then we're sort of building our temple for 12 months time. And I guess this is where the rituals of cleansing and smoothie bowls to nutrient saturate and the spark plugs, eating whole foods, active lifestyle, and really giving the body the stimulus to be healthy becomes quite simple when you've got systems like this. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. I mean, that's the thing. My overall mantra, idea of Isagenix is we make good nutrition really easy, really affordable. I mean, it just makes it smarter. Just makes it better, really.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about this is like, we've got yogis in the community. We've got, so that whole like Ayurvedic, this is another thing I get is like the ancient wisdom and nature, like that is like the foundation of this, right? The modern science and the nutritional science kind of just complements it and just gets rid of all the pseudoscience and the stuff that isn't actually working. Would you say that that's a fair analysis?
Oh yeah. I mean, and I used to be, back in the day, I was pretty into like Ayurvedic stuff and all of that. I've kind of, not that I've gotten away from it, but I'm not the expert I maybe once was, but absolutely. I mean, because they're kind of the overarching idea is that, again, what you feed your body, your daily rituals has everything to do with who you end up being, who you are in essence. But then also just, especially if you're looking at, both Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine, herbs, botanicals, like we do have a lot that are part of that. And so that I would probably point to John Anderson. He probably is the master behind that, but absolutely it plays a part.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of like the supplements and the tonics. They're things that, Chinese medicine as an example has been doing for a long time. You get the whole food, you grind it down, you have it in a more dense form. We just tend to have it in these little capsules and these like ionic tonics and the smoothie bowls and things like that. So it's kind of this modern world version of I guess ancient medicine and nature, but at our doorstep. Yeah.
Right. And the high quality, because that's another thing too. I mean, I do know some friends, I have some friends that have dabbled in, especially Chinese medicine, herbs and whatnot, and ordering it online from, I don't know where, and getting it in like baggies, and it's like this green powder. And I mean, that's great. I mean, I'm sure, I don't know. There again, what's the testing? What's the quality? It does matter where you're getting these things. So we provide all of that, those natural ancient herbs and botanicals, but you're getting what you're supposed to be getting and not what you're not. So I think I'd point to our quality for a good reason to choose Isagenix.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this up, because I know that you're a busy lady, and again, I just want to appreciate your time, Sarah, just to jump on and clarify a lot of these questions, because it's I think the thing with a word of mouth based company is a lot of people won't they'll try to do their own due diligence, right? But they won't go to the source and they won't have these real conversations. So I really appreciate you being that point of contact for us and actually, and being here. And I guess just to finish off, how would you summarize like the Isagenix system in like a 2-minute overview? How would you describe it for the layperson that's listening and thinking about getting this started and integrating these rituals into their life?
Oh gosh. Hopefully I don't ramble too much. I mean, I'm a huge believer of a proponent of personal preference, and everybody's different, right? You have to meet everybody where they're at individually. There's never going to be, the same exact carbon copy. So with that in mind, I think it's good to know that with Isagenix, there's nutritional pathways for just about anybody. Whether somebody just wants to put a pinky in and maybe just start with a daily shake or a daily smoothie bowl, depending on how you make your shake, you can do that, right? You can just start, replacing a meal or two a day with our shakes smoothie bowl, and that's great. Or you can go all the way in, and maybe sometimes too, I use this term lightly, as a metaphor, but kind of a gateway drug, right? People use the shake. They realize how great it is. A lot of people have great results just using the shake. But then you realize more and more what great quality, what great nutrition you can get from our program. And you can go all the way in and incorporate all the different parts and rituals with the intermittent fasting, with the targeted nutrient support, the athletic nutrient support. I mean, all the different things we have. We really do have something for everyone. And again, always going back to Isagenix helps make good nutrition easy, actionable. I mean, makes it easy to execute. And that's what matters. I mean, again, it doesn't matter all the knowledge you can have in the world, all the great intentions you have, but if you can't execute it and you can't get it done day after day, it's not going to do much good. So this is a system that really just makes it easy, and we have just about something for everybody.
Yeah, and I really honor that, because the reason I'm here is because of all the results that I saw around me. Even working as an allied health professional, like I actually had the self-realization that people that, and it was a bit of an ego thing, but the simplicity of something like this almost contradicted my entire study in a sense, and that in the sense that people doing these 30-day resets and they're losing 5 kilos, and I'd been working with them as a personal trainer, as a physio, or doing something with them for like 1 or 2 years, and they weren't getting those type of results. So I really honor that. And I guess to sum this up is, Isagenix is the buffer between the farmers, the quality and the source, and obviously getting the building blocks they need. Like, I think Jim Rhodes says we need like 90 building blocks in our body every single day: the proteins, fats, carbs, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals. And I guess we get, some vitamin D from the sun and a couple other things from outside our body, but 98% of it we have to consume. And then I guess Isagenix just integrates into that whole food eating, active lifestyle, and then we can get on with life and build whatever type of human vessel we want to perform in an unrestricted way, or perform to whatever level we want. So, that's right. So I really appreciate you taking the time, and big love to you, and enjoy the rest of your morning. Are you going back to...
My pleasure always. And you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope to see you all soon.
That's it. And are you back to bed, or are you going to keep working?
You know what? No, I might as well just keep the ship going. I might have to take a nap midday, but yeah, no, I'm thanks. You got me up early.
Beautiful. I love your service to this mission as well. Thanks, Sarah.
All right. Bye.